everyone, today I'm going to be reading you a couple of chapters of The Adventurous Snail by Dick King-Smith. I hope you enjoy. Chapter 1. Like all snails, Siegfried moved very, very slowly. Unlike any other snail, he was adventurous. And like many adventurers, he sometimes did rather foolish things, like boarding on aeroplanes. Siegfried lived in some rough grass at the edge of one of the runways of a large airport. Deep in the grass, he could not see the aircraft that landed or took off close to his home patch, but he could hear them all right. Often he thought he would like to have a look at whatever was making such a noise every 10 minutes or so, every hour of every single day. He was curious, which is part of being adventurous, and so early one fine sunny morning, he slid out of the grass onto the tarmac of the runway and set off to see what he could find. After an hour, Siegfried had travelled about 2 metres, and by the afternoon, he'd reached the middle of the runway. The bursts of noise were much louder now, and the ground shook under his foot, which is what the underneath of a snail is called. Suddenly, there was a terrible blast of sound very, very close, which made Siegfried stop in his tracks. This was just as well, for one of the huge wheels of a newly landed airplane went whizzing past him, missing him by a fraction. "What was that?" said curious Siegfried. He talked to himself. "I don't know, but I'll find out," said adventurous Siegfried, and he turned to follow the direction in which the noise had gone. His slimy trail glistened behind him in the sunshine. Luckily for Siegfried, you need luck if you're adventurous, the aircraft had turned and taxied back towards him before finally stopping for its passengers to disembark, so that it only took the snail another couple of hours to reach it. In fact, he reached one of its wheels, the one on the opposite side to the wheel that had so nearly squashed him. He did not know that it was a wheel. He did not know that the rubber mountain he now set out to climb was called a tyre. He only knew that he was determined, as all adventurers must be, to find out more. Very slowly, Siegfried began to climb. He climbed around one side of the tyre, then over the top of it, then down the other side to the ground again, just where he'd started about an hour ago. Right round the wheel was a trail of sticky slime. Goodness knows how many times adventurous, curious, determined Siegfried might have gone round that aircraft wheel on his sticky foot, had not something lucky happened. The luggage of the passengers for the next flight was being loaded into the hold of the aircraft, and one of the loaders put down a suitcase while he went to help with another heavier piece of luggage. He put it down right beside the wheel. "Curious," said Siegfried. "What is this thing?" And slowly he slid up off the ground and onto the suitcase. Chance is a funny thing, and Siegfried could not have known that this suitcase belonged to a man called Stephen Snail, who was flying to America on business, but the warm leather felt comfortable under his foot, and he settled himself just above a row of letters stamped into the side of the case, which read S. Snail. Chapter 2. You'd hardly believe this, but when the baggage handler came back to pick up Stephen Snail's leather suitcase, a trolley arrived beside the aircraft. On it were a number of pieces of baggage, amongst which was a strange-looking bag made of a sort of grey canvas and sealed and indeed clamped at its neck. It was a diplomatic bag. On it were 2 labels. One read, "By hand of pilot." The other said, "HM's Ambassador, Floor 5, British Embassy, Washington, D.C., USA." The baggage handler picked up Mr. Nail's suitcase to put it on the trolley. He dumped it down so hard that Siegfried fell off, landing on the diplomatic bag. Now, all the luggage was loaded into the hold of the aircraft, except of course the one that said, "By hand of pilot," which was taken to the cockpit. And so, when the jumbo jet took off from the airport, neither the pilot nor the co-pilot knew that, stuck on the clamped neck of the diplomatic bag beside them, was a British snail who, though he did not know it, was travelling to America. Siegfried stayed stock still during the 8-hour journey across the Atlantic. Something told him he was having an adventure. Though the leather of Mr. Nail's suitcase had been comfortable, he preferred the diplomatic bag. When the aircraft landed at the airport at Washington, he made sure that he was stuck on tight to the metal clamp around the neck of the bag. The clamp was snail-coloured, and it would have taken a very sharp eye to detect Siegfried. Certainly, the messenger sent to collect the diplomatic bag noticed nothing, nor, after the car journey which took it to the British Embassy, did anyone on the staff. Except for one person, the British ambassador himself. Sir Robin Bracken was a tall, dark, handsome man with smooth black hair and bushy black eyebrows underneath, which were a pair of extremely sharp eyes. When he entered his office that morning, his secretary said, "A bag has arrived, Your Excellency," and she put it down on his desk. Sir Robin reached out to break the seals and undo the clamp when he suddenly spotted the stowaway. "Well, I'll be blowed," he said, and he pointed to Siegfried, the secretary, who was short-sighted, peered at the snail through her thick spectacles and let out a little scream of alarm. "Oh!" she cried. "It looks like an explosive device. Oh, sir, the bag is booby-trapped. Don't touch it, please. I'll sound the alarm for the security people." Do not do so foolish a thing," said the ambassador, and very gently he detached Siegfried from his resting place and put him down on the desk. "Explosive device, my foot," he said, laughing, as Siegfried moved off on his own foot very slowly, leaving a trail of slime on the polished surface. "This is a gastropod mollusk." "Oh, Sir Robin, whatever does that mean?" asked the bewildered secretary. "Well, a mollusk is something with a soft body and a hard shell, and gastropod means that it travels on its foot, as it is doing now." "But however did it get on the diplomatic bag? If only you could tell us, old chap," said Sir Robin Bracken gently to Siegfried. "My guess is that you are a stowaway from Britain, though I can't think how you boarded the aeroplane." Just for a bit of fun, he thought, "I'll take this British snail and introduce him to the President of the United States of America. I'm sure he'd like to meet so bold an adventurer." Thank you for joining me, and if you would like to hear more of the story, go grab it and have a good read. Thank you.